Hello there. Welcome everyone. And yet again a flawed start to the stream because I forgot my bongo cat. God damn it. So where is he? Come on. There you go. I believe it's now in there. One day you shall have webcam like my other peeps in UGS, but for now using this bongo cat because I'm streaming on my laptop. So yeah. And I just got a notification half an hour ago. Anna Gray 54 has followed us. Thank you very much. And if I'm not mistaken, we now have 100 followers. Thank you, thank you. We finally have achieved that 100 followers goal. Hell yeah, hell yes. Maybe now the new target will be like 200, 500, a million, 100 million. Let's just beat the top streamers, shall we? We shall see, we shall see. For now, we need to focus on the game. And today, we have another development stream in here. Yes, new target, over 9,000! Yes, 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 I like that. New target. Oh, you have things going on in chat of targets and things. Well, I will let moderators deal with that. For now, the sound is okay. It's working good or not. So I'm not checking. I mean, sometimes the microphone goes. I believe it's okay. Maybe just a tiny bit not louder. There you go. Maybe that is not clipping. It's working good. Everything nice. Sugar and spice. There you go. So, music. Music, music. There we go. Music. So, this is a music. This is music basically from a pack that I bought on Humble Bundle, so I could have the rights to stream or use this music on streams, YouTube videos, even in our own game if we need to. So I have the right to play this music on stream to avoid copyrights. Well, for those who don't know, in the past we have this usual thing to recommend other indie games and to play the soundtrack of that said game on stream, but because of copyrights and stuff like that, we have to stop doing that, unfortunately, because we love our indie game community. It's growing exponentially and it's pretty awesome. But, well, copyrights are copyrights, so we need to content with what we have. For today, you may have seen the stream title. I think it's properly done. Does the enemy see me? Yes, it is. It's the title that I have input in here. Fantastic. So, as you may have guessed, the things that we are going today involves this little guy. But wait, it's not only this little guy. It will be all the enemies that we are going to have in the game. Let me explain that. So, we are going to create a system for our enemies, and that system can be used on every single enemy that we choose to create. Of course, all enemies are created equal and different. It's kinda like people, you know? We are all the same, but we all have our difference, you know? So, I will create a system where every enemy goes to a set of rules, and those rules can be tweaked. For example, we can have an enemy that has health, so they have a health pool that is going to diminish if we shoot him, right? There is also the movement. We'll talk later about the movement because there's different enemies with different sets of movement. And they all are going to see the player. Now, there's multiple ways to see the character, the player. Those ways to see the player differ for what we want. For example, we can customize that vision to be literally vision, to visually see the player. It can also be a line of sight, which is the normal vision. It can be sound, although the sound will be a little bit different. I want to customize the sound to be a little bit different. And it can have size on movement. We can customize that, but every single enemy will have the opportunity to have those vision systems applied to it or not, which is pretty cool. But for now, we have this little guy in here looking at our player, right? So, let's start, shall we? For now, I'm just going to ignore every single animation system, because I don't care, right now, at least. We are talking about vision, not about the animation system right now. Maybe at the end of stream, if we develop fast, we may deal with that a little bit, but for now it's just a static sprite that we are going to have in our enemy itself. So, right now we need to create a script, and we already have an enemy script, which is something that I may not recycle. So yes, there is a lot of things in here. Yeah. I would want to name the script enemy, but I already have one, so I may add it if I want, but... Anyway, I'll need to create something in common between our enemy and our player, which is the health pool. And the health pool is something shared between our character, our enemy, and maybe other destructible objects like doors, boxes, if we are going to have boxes. Who knows? Barrels, maybe some jars, for example. Who knows? Communist elf. Not like that. It will not be an elf shared between everyone. Everyone has its own health, you know? It's not one health for everyone. It's everyone has its own health, you know? Barrels. Hell yeah. I mean, I don't know if we are going to have barrels or not. Maybe yes, maybe not. It depends on the amount of work our artist Pixel John in the chat is willing, rather has time to do it or not. We shall see. We shall see. But for now, we need to give health to our characters. So our player and our enemy has its own health thingy. If we open scripts, let me just remind of that. Or maybe I haven't dealt with that. Have I? Maybe not. Have the movement and jumping and other things, but I haven't dealt with the health pool. Great. I believe I have done something on the doors. I don't remember which one. I know there's a door that we can shoot. I don't remember is... This is the weapon system of our character. Let's not this. Well, we'll need to check our door. This is the breakable door, right? Yes, it is the breakable door, and this breakable door... It is a breakable door, right? Brick door, yes it is. There's right, square, this square... It's just a thing... Destructible, alright, now I can see. Why did I name this destructible? Well, because it is a destructible. Alright, I understand. Okay. So... Take damage. Okay, fantastic. I like this thing in here. So, we have this, we have our enemy, we have our bullets, it's a character thing, so player, yeah, we have all in here. So, the first thing is our player is a destructible entity, so I'm going to go to the hierarchy of a class, you know, and I'm going to tell that our player is a destructible character. So I can just copy the name of this class and just replace this mono behavior to be destructible and save. There you go. Now our player is a destructible object, meaning everything we have in here, every code in here, you know, we don't have anything that can destroy the character, right? But we have this. And so, if we call a function on our player, which is this function, if we call the take damage on our player, the player will be damaged with the corresponding damage to its HP. So basically we don't have HP in our player, right? But if I'm going to the inspector, for example, just waiting a second, waiting even more seconds, one minute later. An eternity later. Come on. There you go. So if I click on our player and I go to the script thing, there you go. Now we have our indestructible HP and thing. The end menu. What is this end menu? What's going on? End menu. So there's that. Level end menu. Why is this in here? Well, maybe it's something that we need to clean up. Future Kaado can deal with this cleanup later. So let's just ignore this level thing because I'm going to have a level manager. That's not to be in here. There you go, there you go. General Kenobi. Thank you for the hello there. I see chat is having fun. I always like to see that. So, now our player doesn't have weird things in here. There you go, there you go. So, for you to understand, soundboard not... I don't have the soundboard, I'm sorry. Yes, that's the thing. When it's Pixel John or our Martingale streaming, because they are a couple, live in the same house, I believe they use the same laptop, the same system to stream, they have a very cool soundboard to play songs. But because UGS has multiple people streaming, currently we are 4 people streaming. Yeah, unfortunately I don't have a soundboard, so yeah, no sound things today. Sorry. Maybe in the future, who knows? Maybe in the future we'll have sound things in here. We can get you the code needed for the soundboard later. It's coded? I thought it was an hardware thing that you click at the button and it was linked to chat and things. If it's software, well, I may configure it later. Something that I can do it. Well, anyway, let's just focus on game. So, where we were. Yes, the health thing. So, our player has now a pool of health that we can set. The HP, 100. We can set the indestructible on or off. For example, if we are in cutscenes or something like that. Entering the upgrade stations, for example, saving and stuff, we can always click the indestructible for our players. So yes, that we have our player being destructible, giving him HP. Now we can do the same thing for our enemy. The thing is, there is a lot of code in here. Which I didn't make. So I'm just scrolling up and down to see if there's something that I can use, you know. I will need to use stuff like the sound thing, maybe not this one, but the animator. This is probably going to be a standalone thing later on, and I will need to make a standalone thing for our player as well. We have animations running in here, I believe. There we go. We have the animations thing in here. Maybe I create something different for every single character to use the same animation system. Well, optimizations can be done later. This is definitely not in here. This is definitely not in here, because I have this in here. There you go. Although I can steal this idea, so I can make the public take damage, and if it's dead I can change its behavior. And maybe I do that. Maybe I do that right now. Optimizations. I like it. So, protected, void, dead. And you may ask me why protected. So, class hierarchy in coding basically. We can set private, which means I can only have access to the HP in this class. But for example, if the player in here, I try to access the private, even though player is a class child from destructible and has HP, I can't access because it's private. I can only mess around with the HP in here. But if I set to be protected, I can override this function, for example, because I'm creating a function, and have different behaviors on different objects. For example, I can make some objects get set active to false to simply do that. For example, I can call that function in here, right? Or I can just override this function and just create destroy like we have in here. Although I hate this, I really hate destroy and instantiate. I mean, it's useful if we do that, but how can I say that? We shall create our characters and instantiate them when the game is loading, at the beginning of the game, on the loading screen, and then in game have it set active to false and activate it when it's needed, so they are ready to go on our memory. That makes the memory usage and requirements bigger, but also makes the game exponentially faster. Optimizations. Whatever. Anyway. This I can literally delete that, because let me just ink damage, float damage. I believe there's no problem. So you can go away. Commented code, you can go away, because I'm going to do things by myself. The start can stay in there, this can stay in there, this I'm definitely not gonna use it. Enemy reference, for some reason, clip, this makes sense, this is not needed. But because I'm not using it, I'm just gonna... there you go. Comment everything. So, our enemy is a destructible thing. There we go. There we go. Hell yeah. Our enemy is a destructible thing. So our enemy now has the HP and the things in here, so yes. Now that we have our base script for our enemy, we can now select our enemy thing and just move the script to it. So the enemy can have 100 HP, whatever. I will also create a capsule collider because it's going to move, so it's useful to be a capsule collider to not have problems moving around. Maybe like that. Maybe something like that. And because it's going to move, it's going to need a rigid body 2D. Now simulate physics, use automass, blah blah blah. I will try to make something similar from our player. So copy components. And pass the component in here. Wall material. I don't remember setting up this. Bounciness 0, friction 0. Then why I have created this? Anyway, maybe it was a previous thing created in here. Gotta have the physics. Hell yeah, hell yeah. But the physics, I'm making them equal, so the gravity effects on our player being the same in our enemies as well. We can although change that if we want to have enemies with different types of gravity, or even affect the gravity of our character itself, but I don't want to give more work to me or to Pixel John or everyone else in our team, so I'm not gonna promise that. Yay! So everyone's gonna have the same settings for now. So our character, this boy, let me see the constraints. Freeze rotation, exactly. I want to freeze the rotation on the z-axis so it doesn't roll around like a circle. It's not a perfect circle, that's almost a circle. But if I play, now you have our little character in there, you know. I probably can push him around. But there you go. We have our enemy. And because it has physics, it gradually loses its speed and stuff. See? I can even jump on top of it and stuff like that. And because I can do that, I can... yeah. Let's edit a little bit. I mean, this is useless because, you know, it's going to be changed, but anyway. It's going to be changed from enemy to enemy. That's what I wanted to say. Horizontal, maybe it's the best setting. Maybe like that. Yeah, something like that. Now, let me just check something. So our enemy shall be tagged as the enemy. Enemy. Layers. Doesn't matter, doesn't matter. Yeah, default. No, no need. So, our enemy has the tag enemy and has the script with the HP. And so, if we remind ourselves of our bullet, if our bullet collides with something called, where is it? Destructible, you know what's going to happen? It's a tag, destructible, not enemy. I will need to change these later. Let me just do a note in here. Swap is instant create for a proper in object animation. So it's just for a note for future Kaado, whatever. And this set active false. Yeah, I'm not doing that right now because I don't want to mess around with old code for the bullet system, but you know, it is what it is. But if I shoot the enemy, and I will need to change the enemy to be destructible, and the enemy has 100 HP, and the bullets, I believe the bullets do a damage of 40, so 3 bullets. Let's just shoot this enemy 3 times. 1, 2, 3. What the hell is going on? Oh, the prefab is set to have a low kill thing. Alright. So it's going to take 1 more bullet to kill it. Bam. Dead. There you go. Fantastic. Exactly what we wanted. Yeah. Now our enemy can die. So, the enemy can die. But it's just sitting in there. It's not attacking our player, it's not moving, it's doing nothing. Doesn't even have animations. But before we start doing that all at once, we need to divide that in tasks and do it individually. Meaning, when we try to program behavior in an object, that behavior needs to be sectioned off into micro tasks. So meaning, for our enemy to move, it needs the ability to move. Yes, we can just make it move left and right. But the thing is, it needs to know if it can move left or right. That's an important thing. Otherwise, he'll just move left and right and ignore our character, walls, and just go through walls and things and whatever. We don't want that. We want our enemy to have the ability to check if it can move or not. And by giving that ability, which is basically the ability to see, can our enemy see? If the enemy can see, then it not only can check if it can move or not, it can also check if it should attack or not. Yeah, the enemy uses to work like that, like a ghost. Yeah, it's, well, things, you know? We can make it just simple movement left and right, or just make a code to the enemy is... the player is colliding with this giant collider of our enemy. Then the enemy will just follow our character. Doesn't matter if there's walls in between them or not. For example, like we have in Exauria. Because yes, I didn't program AI movement in Exalia yet. That's a different thing. It's another project that we are making right now. Right now not, because we have paused that project to make this, but yeah, future things. Doesn't matter. Right now, what matters is to give vision to our enemies, and so our enemies shall have the ability to see our character. And so, how we are going to make that? Let's just create another script, shall we? Now, this script, let me see how we are going to do. He may not have eyesight, but he has vision. Yes. And actually, that might be a joke, but it's the correct way to say that. Because yes, it's a type of vision. It can be... detection is the correct word. It can be direct line of sight, can be sound, even though sound in game it's usually made by calculating the excessive movements itself and not the sounds playing. Even though there's games that use the sound play, we wouldn't do that though. But yeah, something like that. And I don't think I can create behaviors with interfaces, yeah. So it must be a class. And that class, will I make a class extendable, like extend, or not? Or just a component thing? Maybe I will do it by component. Maybe the vision, I will add it as a component. This is the process that a programmer always has, is how is he going to organize its code. It's a very important process because it makes easier down the line do stuff. And I believe it's a supernatural noticing of player. Actually no, because it's not only the player, it will be a lot of different things, you know? Because the detection thing that I'm trying to create can be used on enemies, on our player, on our rockets, like those humming rockets that are going to follow the player or the enemy, depending on one who's shooting who, because, well, the player will have the ability to shoot that, and the enemy will have its own missiles, guided missiles type of thing. So the detection should have the ability to do that. And that might be... that's cool. What if the enemy notices and tries to run away? That can also be programmed as well, you know. That can also be done as well. But that is a different thing altogether. Because right now he needs to detect it. That's the thing. Detectable. Detection. What's the correct name to do something like that? What will be the name that we can give to a thing that does detection? Like a radar? Shall we call it radar? Or detection? I mean, there's destructibles of detection. I will call it radar, because it's cooler. Radar. I think it's written like that. Sixth Sense. Ah! You were too late! I could call it Sixth Sense, but well, there you go. Now it's radar. Well, this radar we'll need to set this up. Let me see. How am I going to set this up? I can make a layer thing, can't I? Make a layer thing. Because this radar is supposed... Well, first off, we'll need to create something. And this something will be... private game objects list of game objects. Protected objects. So OBJs. Anyway. Now we can just add or remove objects from here, you know? That's the radar. Now I can just go very quickly. Nothing here. Where's there's stuff with this? For example, this one. There you go. This is a more copy pasta thing to use. Now, I don't want interactables. What I want is... what's the better thing to do? In this situation. Right now I'm thinking the way multiple enemies can be detected or not. Because we also want to use this radar on our player as well. But that's for future things, you know? Even though we are creating the vision, the sixth sense for our enemy, I want also to use this radar on our player when we are creating our homing missiles, you know? So for that I need serial... it doesn't need to be serialized. No, it doesn't. Private... So, private game objects targets. And to encapsulate this thing, I can just say public function void set targets, and the target shall be game object object, so ABJ, and target will be equals to object. Yes, that object. Posture check. Actually, it was a nice check. And water as well. And hydration, a combo. So now we have the ability to do a target for our radar, which is pretty cool. Yes, that's a thing that everyone should add, like a constant posture check, so we don't destroy our backs for working on a computer all day. Yeah, such an healthy human. Good job, you human. Hey. Well, anyway. So it's a collider call. So what should we do? In here, because the thing is, if we have multiple objects in here, because we can, we should have a way to detect the closest one and set that one as a target. Hell yes. So every time some new object enters this radar, if this collider.gameObjects is equal to our target, maybe not the correct thing to do. I kinda don't want to do that because game objects are going to be different if they are enemies. But the target is useful to send the correct target, to indicate the correct target that we want. Let's just keep going the way we are and then deal with this later, you know? Doesn't matter. So, if the game object equals to the target, then let's just detective object dot add these dudes, you know? And if they exit, maybe it's not needed to do that. Every single object that leaves the thing, it should be not add but remove. And just make sure game object item. There you go. So yeah, if something leaves this, then it should remove. The thing is, this remove I hope this remove function checks if exits or not, and if not doesn't exist, doesn't call a null exception error, blah blah blah. Well, if the bug occurs because of this, we deal with that later. Okay. We have a system. Yes, we have. Now, as we can see, this system is based on collisions. Yes, they are based on collisions. Now, do I want to start doing stuff? For example, testing this. Let me see if there's a need to set something. I mean, there is a need to set the target at the beginning if you want our enemy to detect the player. The thing is, attack player. So do I want that on our enemy or to set up the enemy and the enemy sets up the radar and set the target to be the thing itself, or do I want it in here? You know what? The setup it's going to be on the object itself that we are playing. Yeah, I think it's the correct thing to do. So private radar private void awake and radar dot set target, and I want to find object of type and I want the player. Maybe I need to find game object of type. It's not a thing. Find object of type, system type, t where t equals to objects, system type, t where t is objects, maybe this, and we can choose the player in here and do that instead. Find object of type, convert to dot game objects. Come on, there you go. There we go. So our enemy now sets up our player as the target, as constantly setting the player as the target. Fantastic. So there's our radar, there's our enemy, radar. Of course I need to radar, goes to get components, radar. There you go. Radar. So we have one collider, we have our rigid body, and now we can add the radar to our enemy. And for the radar to work, it needs to have the trigger collider. And so let's just add a collider in it. And I will make it a capsule collider, because it's cooler, you know. And I will set up it as trigger, and then let's just do the size thing. Increase. Increase. More. So our enemy will detect our character. Let's just do an offset, making it like a vision type thing, you know, in this. Maybe a little bit like that for now. So this is a custom collider that we can use for the detection, you know, of the radar thing. And to debug stuff on our radar, let's just do debug.log and do the target.name, which means if the target detected in this system will basically tell us the name of that object itself, and in here could be call.gameObjects. Yeah, so let's just see. Unit is now thinking. Can our enemy see us? It can't. Of course, it's triggering null things. God damn it, why? 14 and 21. Why you always have to be like that? Boy still blind, yes, he's still blind. He's still blind. Object reference not set to an instance of an object. Why are you doing that? But he entered in here because the thing has detected the same target and triggered that. This actually I will thought it would make sense, but this one not detecting our character that just collided with. Come on. Come on. Doesn't make sense. In my brain. Maybe I'll try not to shoot it, because it can be messing around with the bullets. Actually no, it is the same. At least detects the thing. So why you not doing that? It's always the little details. It's just the way what it is, you know? So we have the collider accessing the game object of that collider, and that is null. It's in here. That will make sense if it is this find object of type player dot game object. If that was the case, that will make sense. Dot name. So I want to see if the enemy can find our player on awake. Maybe it's that problem, you know? It probably is. It probably is. Actually, no. It has detected the player. Player. So, you detect this guy in here. Game object goes in here. Game object, target object. So the player is in here as a game object. Game object is equal to target. And so I'll try to add it in there. It does not do that at all. The list game objects. I'll need to see the documentation on Unity. So Unity lists. Just to make sure. Just to make sure. So, collection generic. I mean, if we want a list of integers, that's not the thing I want. Oh, it's not initialized. Is that the problem? Do I actually need to create a new list of game objects? Is that it? Fix it. Yeah. That was the problem. He wanted to initialize the thing. So yes, our enemy can now see us, which is fantastic. So is there something the enemy needs to be able to move? Problem may be on the movement script instead of the detection. Oh no, don't worry about the movement script, because the movement script I have... yeah. Actually no, there's nothing of movement in here. I actually don't know what you have done for movement in our enemies. It's not the script. Certainly. So what is... it's the horizontal enemy. I'm not using this script yet. So there you go. That's why there is not a problem in this thing. No, actually no. The enemy Ori, it's another type of enemy with the same thing. Oh. I'm definitely not gonna use that, because it's just a copy pasta, and I have created a system that's not going to need that. Anyway, I don't know, but the problem was basically I've created a variable, but it wasn't initialized, you know? That's the problem. It's basically an experience problem. Basically a C# thing, you know? Yeah, standards, there you go. Yeah. But now our enemy can see us, which is pretty nice, you know? It can detect the player and it can detect even the bullets in its vision, although another bug has been created and I hate it. I really don't like what I'm seeing in here. God damn it. Why you need to do this? So basically I need to create radar. Now I'm confused with radar in English. So I'm confused. Why language needs to be that confusing when writing stuff? That's just goddamn it. God damn it. Come on. That's why I hate any language that's not programming language. Just confusing. I mean, our language are even more confusing than actually programming language. Anyway, doesn't matter. So, our radar, which does not have an eye in it. Where is it? Where is my class radar? Where are you? In here. And now I can just copy this component and pass this component in here. There you go. Okay, I now can remove this, and it's going to fail because I don't think the get component checks the child components, or does it? Yeah. Wait. Alright, so this I can do something simpler like serialize fields and just remove radar from here. Yeah. Waiting a second, and I will explain the thing. So, what was happening is the bullets are detecting the game object with tag destructible, and because the tag destructible triggers on the trigger enter as well, not only on the collider but on trigger enter as well, if the bullet collided with the radar, then it will fire, it will destroy. We don't want that. That's why I have to make this radar a child component of our enemy, so the bullets will be ignored by the radar itself, you know? See? The bullet now collides with our enemy, and our enemy now sees us. See? That's fantastic. I love it. So the bug has been fixed. Now it's the time that we start to customize the thing. And to customize the thing... Well, before we do that, there's something that is annoying me. Just a second. Just a second. And this has broken the enemy thing. Alright. Proper English. Proper English. There you go. So, now is the time that we can configure the radar to use different ways to detect our player. So, the player is not the correct thing to say because, well, we may want to detect the closest object in our radar object pools. That's the correct thing to do, because we may have a lot of other objects that we want to target, you know. This is not correct, needs to be fixed, you know. This target thing in here. I'm thinking. I am thinking. I'm actually gonna change this. So we have the game object, the target. We have the game object, the target. And we'll have a private string set target. And so the set target will not be as a game object. We don't want that. String str and set string set target. Let's just say set target will be equals to str. Come on, don't do that. There you go. In here, I don't want this. I want the collision dot set. I want the compare tag thing. There you go. The compare. There you go. Compare tag. And yeah, transform compare tag. Does the game object dot compare tag works as well? It doesn't matter. Set target. Set target. And there is another problem in here. On our enemy, we can't do we can say this. We can say player. There we go, player. And just make sure our player needs to have the tag player, which has. Fantastic. Now the radar has the ability to detect multiple players, which is fantastic. The way it was made, basically the game object target will be exactly that game object, and we don't want that. We want to be able to detect multiple objects. But you may ask, there is only one player. Yes, but we want to use this radar to be used not only to detect the enemy, to see the player. We want also this radar to be used, for example, in our homing missiles. So for example, if the player fires an homing missile, that homing missile will have a radar that can detect multiple enemies, right? That's the point, multiple enemies. And then we'll need to check on those multiple enemies which one is the closest one. And so in here the compares target, set target, detected objects, blah blah blah. Yeah. So I can delete this from here because I know it's working. What I want is to yeah, it's adding, removing. Now we have set the targets. I will have another public void get target. Get target, right? Because we are getting target, the void it should not be void, it should be game object, not manager object, and return target. Yes, because in the radar, it's on the radar that we are going to choose the target that we are detecting, basically. So the best way to do that is basically the closest one. So the closest object being detected in the radar will be the target. To do that, we can simply call a function in here. So on trigger enter, on trigger exit, set target, get target. So we can call the thing in here. What should I do? So first off, private void private void detection type. Or a better name, detected by type. There you go. And in here I can trigger this, detected by type. And I can send these to here. So, game object. There you go. So this does not need to be in here anymore because it's going to be in here. So detected by type object. Now why am I doing this? So we'll need to create something to indicate the type of objects that we want to detect. So in radar, now I'm starting to not. Now the thing that I have on the enemy might not be proper, but anyway, so I want something that I have used before. Let me just check for it. Maybe it's on the player. I want the collision thing. And I want these layer masks things. I want to do something similar to this. And so layer mask, and I don't want to be the ground layer mask, I want it to be target layer mask. There you go. Target layer mask. Now the thing is in here. The layers, I will need to detect the layer of this thing in there. That's what I want to do, to compare it. So the collider that is entering, I want to check if it's colliding or not. Instead of compare tag, can I get the layer? Can I compare layer? No, I can't. Come on. So, Google time. Google time. So, compare layer mask unity. That's what I want to know. So if other game object layer include layers, what is that thing include layers? What the hell is that include layers? Oh, the layers is the layer mask. Oh, it matched when it wasn't in an ignore layer. It wasn't in. Okay, I have discovered something pretty cool, by the way. So I can have multiple objects that I can detect, basically. So not this one. So in here I want one cool dot game objects dot layer, because I want the layer. and target layer mask, and if this is different than 0, it means we have objects in this compare thing. So this is basically comparing this to this, and it's comparing, and if it's bigger than 0, it means there is an object exists in there. Excellent. Great. So this target thing can disappear basically, and the set target thing can disappear as well, and the enemy can basically not have that because it's not needed anymore. It's more optimized, and the way we set the detection things, come on, let me do that on enemy. We can now go on radar, target layer, and we can select the layer that we want to target. Now, the cool thing that we can do is set what we want to detect. And so, we can add other layers. For example, player and enemy. Interactables, camera, ground, player, enemy. Yes, 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 yes. And the cool thing in this door, for example, this is a break door. This is a door that should be destroyed with a missile. The cool thing in this door is basically I can set this door, especially the thing itself, this in here, because it's the one that has the destructible object, as the layer enemy. Actually, I don't think I want that as well. This doesn't have a collider, but this does. So this is default. So this door, this entire door, I'll select with the layer enemy. No, just this one. So the doors that need to be breakable by shooting at them, right? We can set them to have the destructible script, as well the layer being enemy. So it's just an extra thing to have an even cooler stuff on the end, which is basically the missiles will not only follow the enemies but also these doors, which is pretty nice. So, in our enemy, we select the radar and we can choose the targets we want, for example, the player. And so the radar can always detect the player. But if we want our enemy to also detect other stuff, for example, other enemies as well, there you go. We can make the radar detect multiple objects. See? Which is pretty cool. And so we have the target layer mask the player. And so if it detects the player, does that. If some object leaves it, it will try to remove it from the thing. There you go. There's that. There's that. There's that. Now, next thing. The next thing we want, I would like to make a checkbox. It's a type of switch. With activation or not. How does one do that? Dictionary switch. That's the thing I want. Or not. Mapping with dictionary instead of switch. Maybe that's the one thing I want. Let me see. Now, what I'm trying to do basically is something that can trigger multiple behaviors. Is that what I'm trying to do? So basically, I want to set up a system that can use multiple types of visions in here. That's what I'm trying to do. So maybe I will do something like, let me say, I'm trying to overcomplicate things right now. Let's just test before anything else. But before we do that, there is another thing. So, let's just think. You have the get target, yes, the get target. Detected by type. Triggers, trigger enter, and we have the target. Yes. So we have our target and our list. So the list, we are adding objects in our list. When the object is added in there, I want to call the private void set target which is basically going to do a for each game objects in this and maybe a float distance equals to, let's just say something big, something like that. It's not being used. So I want to check the distance. If distance is bigger than the object, I kind of want to calculate distance. Vector 2 dot distance from objects dot transform dot position to our transform dot position. And if distance is bigger than this distance, then the distance, the new distance will be this, And the target, the new target, will be equals the object, which is the closest one. There you go. And now we have our target. And set target will be on the detected objects, and after detected objects we'll call the set targets. Hydrate, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Always drink water, my friend. Like the football player Cristiano Ronaldo has said, no to Coca-Cola, yes to water. There you go. Thank you for the hydration, General Kenobi's God. I actually agree with your name. Kenobi is a god. But anyway. Now the closest object will be the target. And the detection is just whatever. So yes. Just to check, let's just debug. Debug.log target.name Praise Kaado, the one true savior. I mean, he tried to save. Actually, it's maybe controversial or not, but everyone Kenobi tried to save, it dies. Well, so there you go, I guess. Well, while I was distracted by our god Kenobi, I made our enemy blind again. Why you blind? You may be blind because of this. You may be blind for a plethora of reasons. So are you doing this? So first off, let's see if we are seeing our enemy colliding. So just make sure our player... Oh, that makes sense. No, it doesn't need to be children. As long as this has a collider, which has... So there you go. Now it's going to work. Fantastic. And I didn't need to do this. So basically just a target thing. Yes, he at least tried, which was a thing. I mean, he couldn't save Anakin. Well, at this point, everyone knows the spoilers. So spoiler alert for Star Wars fans. He tried to save Anakin, he failed. He tried to save Anakin's wife. I'm getting a blank. That senator. How was she called? God damn it. Well, he tried to save her. She dead. At least he helped Luke. So, there you go. Oh, hello there. General Kenobi. So, where were we? Right. The detection system. Why did you jump to oblivion? What's wrong with you? I haven't messed with you like that. What the hell is going on? I don't understand what's going on. Seriously. What's wrong with you? Is the layer player messing around with you? Let me see. So everything nice, sugar and spice. But if I change the layer to be player, the player goes to oblivion. That's probably legacy code from this prototype project. Well. What's messing around with the player layer in here? So what scripts we may have that affects a layer of a player? So we have player now fixing bugs time, because it couldn't be a Kaado stream without bugs, right? So player is open, weapons is open, player that too, player that too. Right. Where's the weapons? There you go. Any other scripts that may affect? It could be other scripts outside of this, by the way. I don't know. Why is this box deactivated? Probably older code stuff. So, in our player, do we have something that moves the layer? Maybe it's the knockback thing. Is it? Is the knockback thing triggered for some reason? When sales is not a common thing in here. Why are you doing that? Shoot bullets. Heavily load. Okay, the weapon is nice. Death. This is stuff that doesn't matter right now. There's nothing in here that justifies the player moving. I can't understand that. Why do you move there? And if I... Let me try something. In here. You got glued to the wall. So I assume it's not a transform thing. It might be something affecting physics. But what the hell we have in this? Thing that affects the physics. What could we possibly have that deactivate the physics? Or deactivate that possess the physics? The enemy, I just created that. Doors, I created last stream. Instructions is another thing, not this. Maybe a camera thing? Is it? A camera thing? That's messing around our... Do we have scripts in here? Or an health controller? Is this bullshit affecting our character? That's actually something that's pissing me off. Never update UI on update, but I'm just gonna pretend I didn't see that, and future Kaado can deal with it. I didn't see this, so goodbye. Now, well, finding stuff in searching of other things, it's something weird. So let's just deactivate this object, deactivate the camera thing, this thing as well. Let me just, well, there is no hammering, of course, because I have deactivated the camera itself. Does this have scripts in it? No, it doesn't. So, deactivate this, camera without scripts. This deactivator, this deactivator. Yeah, this can exist, this cannot though. I don't want this, maybe I don't want this either. Let's try it. Let's just wait some seconds. Ooh. Now, little by little, we'll activate things. Okay. Camera Bonds is messing around with our player physics. Why? And do we actually need that thing? Do we actually need that camera bonds? By the way, that's code that I haven't mess around, you know. So, let's try to understand this. So I have camera bonds, transform, position, blah blah blah, rigid body. Don't know why a camera bond will need to have a rigid body. Composite collider, another thing that I don't know a camera bond will need. And a box collider. Maybe it's that. Alright. So it's the collision from this that's messing around with our player for some weird reason. But it's doing something bad. It's something that I don't see reasons to be in here right now. I know can mess around with camera bonds to do pretty cool things like having the camera not go over these edges, which is pretty cool. But right now yeah, goodbye something. And yes, if bugs were so easily resolved by just deleting stuff, well, if bugs were done like that, probably the game will be deleted to oblivion. But anyway, our detection thing is working, which is pretty cool, and there is two trigger things because I have two of them. So I have one in here and one in here, which is working correctly. Let me just do something different. Let's just do something different. Waiting a little bit. There was something. Thank you. Chat is really doing great things. I was so focused on the code that I haven't noticed what happened in there, but the problem was resolved. Thank you, moderators. You are doing a great job. And also thank you, General Kenobi. Is a god. Is actually a god protecting us. Thank you. Now, where were we? Yes, the enemy. Console thing, because I want to trigger the player thing. Let me just do a game object with some collider thing and player. I also want a sprite. Yeah, something like that. Not a sprite. Mask? No. Square. There you go. We have a square. This little square will detect it by player. It has a collision. So box collision. And I will move this closer to the enemy. So square. See the square in here? So he leaves the thing, he enters square again, right? So the square is a player, detection player, you know, for example. But we have created a system to detect multiple objects, right? So if I slowly move towards the enemy, square, right? Because the square is the closest one. But if I move the square out, it does nothing. Only if it enters, not when it leaves. Now there's something... I don't want to make this permanent as well. That's the thing. I don't want to make things permanent. So when it detects a new object, or when it leaves with a new object, it does detection, it set the target. Let's just do this. Remove the object and set a new target. Has this compiled in real time? Let's just check. Square, square. It always focuses on the square because it's the closest one he has in the pool. But if the square leaves the vision, it's now focused on the player. If I move out, now the target is a square. The bug is fixed and we have multiple target detection with the closest one being detected. Now, there is a simple detail. For example, if I, the player, move in here, there is already a target. And if I enter but I move closer, the enemy is still looking at this target in here, even though the player is closer to it. It's the detection system used by multiple games because it's the most optimized one. We could trigger it to be called every second to optimize it, but I believe it's not needed in this game because, look, we are going to only have one player and we are going to have multiple enemies. This multiple detection system is basically created for the player to shoot multiple enemies on the humming thing. And the thing is, when the rocket is created, it's going to detect already the enemies inside and it's going to follow the closest one, and that will be set from the start. So it's not needed, because if we have edited to the target being updated, it will basically, for example, if the missile was following one enemy and the other enemy will be close to the missile will change target to follow the other enemy. And we might not want that. So yes, we have the things done in here. See? Square is the closest one, square is still the target. But if square hides or leaves the detection area, now the enemy is the new one. See? Me like the smart missile system. Yeah, when it's done, you know, because I need to put the AI, the pathfinding AI thing working correctly. So not only our enemies, but also the missiles work as intended, you know. But for now, we have targets. working properly, so the player can see. Correction, the enemy can see the player and detect it, you know. And it's already 8 o'clock and I only made the vision by... Well, let's just prototype really quickly before we end the stream. So, let's just... We still have time to detect other types of vision. Let's just say that. So right now it's just on detection. But I want to do something different. Detected by type, and I want to create a type in here. So, what I want to do is to raycast. So, if let's do a raycast, it's to the information returned about an object detected by a raycast into the physics. Yeah. So I'll need to remember how this is built, basically. Come on, you are not going to give me the stuff that I want, so how it's going to be. So I assume it's going to start on our transform.position and probably a target, which is object dot transform.position, and this raycast dot layer thing equals or maybe something different. Let me just try to do the same thing I have done in here. Something like this, but in here I want the raycast object, the raycasted object to be in this place. And if it's true, then I add the new object to the thing and set target, and the target, well, things. This may create a problem though, because if it's null, which is going to be null for certain, now I'm thinking the way it should be. Right now I'm going to see a raycast thing pretty fast on Google's Unity raycast. It's on 2D. I just want to know an example of this. So raycasts, I will need to okay, so in this if there is no need for nothing like this. Targets, layer masks, doesn't matter. So, recast it to the recast, and let me just do a physics to the dot recast, and in this recast there is the origin, which is our transform position. There is the direction, which is the direction where our other object is. The distance, for example, and the layer mask, which is going to be the target layer mask. Default recast layers. That's not gonna work. Because I want this like that. Alright. Now, what this gives in return. I don't care about distance, I care about this and it thing dot game object. Can I do that? No, I can't. Can't I get the game object from recast it 2D? Maybe on a result? Returns the number of results placed in the result list. I don't want that. I want the object itself. Get first collision on line. So the recast was correct. Yes, to be or not to be. We are philosophers now. Where's the it info? Direction, layer mask, return true. I just want the first object, that's the thing. There's the origin, there's the second object. Get direction. Just thinking in code. I'm probably doing something around in here, so transform, position, distance. Distance more, give me more info. So target layer mask. Save. Right. Let me see if that works. So basically I want to recast a line between two objects, the enemy and our player. And when that line is made, the objective is to check if there's something in the middle, and if there's something in the middle, then the enemy should not see the character. But because it's something that I need to check it offline, because it's taking too long on stream and I actually will have to go have dinner. Yeah, something for future Kaado to deal with. And to not end the stream on a bug, I have just deleted the raycast thing because, well, what I have in mind was the Unreal raycast thing, which I can check the objects, but in here it works different, and I don't know, I don't remember how the raycasts in Unity are done, so yeah. Future Kaado can deal with that. Yeah. Different visions in the future, yeah, something that can be dealt with later. But yeah, so I'm just gonna ask if chat has a raid target for us. And while The moderators have a rave target set up, and while they are doing that, I'm just going to do the outro, shall we? And let's just... yeah, the music can be played as well. So for the outro, I always like to do the outro with we have a website and we have each. Actually, I can do that. So because I want to do only one call to action, but for you to just see our info. So we have a website which you can check out the games that we have. For now, there is the X-Area Alpha and the Red Run, you know. That is on itch.io. You can check our games in there. There is the Droian, this is the page for this game in here. But the call to action that I wanted to do is our Discord. Yes, we have a Discord channel. And we can join, you can join our Discord channel when we try to be active. So if you want to talk to us, you can do it in there, in our Discord channel. I can even pass along the link in here. I can't do it in here, why? So just a second. I will pass along the link on Twitch chat. So come on. There you go. We have the link for our Discord channel in chat, where you can join us and talk to us. The link is in the description as well. And that's it. We can now stop the music. I hope you have enjoyed the stream. See you next time, Wednesday, for a Let's Play stream. So, bye bye.